Imam Abu Hanifa was teaching, and Abu Yusuf al-Qadi, his main student, was studying with him. Abu Yusuf al-Qadi felt that he reached a point where he actually became qualified to teach. So he decided, he said, I became an imam now, so I need to make my own halaqah. So he started his own halaqah in the masjid. So Abu Hanifa comes to teach his halaqah, and he says, there's a halaqah on the other side of the masjid. And he says, like, do we have like a visiting scholar giving a halaqah here? Who's? They said, no, this is Abu Yusuf. He said, Abu Yusuf, like my student. They said, yes. He said, so what's going on? They said, okay, now he realized now he's qualified to teach, so he thinks he's qualified to have his own halaqah, so he started his own halaqah now. Imam Abu Hanifa, he doesn't have personal issues, but he knows Abu Yusuf al-Qadi is not ready yet, still needs more. So he says, okay. He wants to teach him a lesson, wants to wake him up. So he says to one of the students, go to his halaqah, and when it's time for questions, ask him a question. He says, okay, what's the question? He said, someone goes to a tailor. He brings a piece of cloth in order for the tailor to, tailor it into a thawb, into a proper garment. So he gives it, and they agree on a price. And he says to him, come in a few days and collect your thawb. You pay me and I will give you your thawb. So the man came to the tailor a few days later, and he says, where's my thawb? He says, what thawb are you talking about? He says, my thawb, I gave you a piece of cloth in order to design it for me into a thawb. No, he said, no, you didn't come to me. You have nothing here. He said, how come? I gave you. He said, no, you didn't give me. So they went to the judge. He went to the judge, and the judge checked, and he sent an inspector to the tailor's shop, and he found a thawb made with the same piece of cloth that was described by that person. Now, what is the ruling? The judge is going to give that man, that customer, his thawb, but should the customer pay the tailor? Because he tried to take the thawb for himself. Should he pay him for making the thawb, or should he just take his piece of cloth regardless of what shape it is now? Because he's just going to take his piece of cloth, which now is shaped as a thawb, right? But he's going to take it back, that's it. So should he pay the tailor or not? So he went there. When it was time for questions, he asked the question to Abu Yusuf. Abu Yusuf al-Qadi thought, and he said, you think about this? He says, yes, he pays him. Abu Hanifa had instructed the student, he said, if he says to you, yes, he pays him, tell him wrong. That's the wrong answer. But if he tells you that no, he shouldn't pay him, also tell him that's wrong. Wrong answer. So when Abu Yusuf al-Qadi answered, he said, yes, he should pay him. The student said, that's the wrong answer. So he thought again, he said, let me think about it again. He thought about it, he said, oh yeah, he shouldn't pay him. He said, wrong. He said, that's not from you. That's not from you. That's from my teacher. He knows now, he knows the style, right? So he dissolves that kind of gathering. He says, I'm not ready to teach. So he gets the lesson, then he goes to Abu Hanifa, and he sits in the halaqah. So Abu Hanifa says to him, you know what the answer is? He says, no. He says, the answer is, it's neither yes nor no. The judge should look into the thawb. If it's designed according to the body dimensions of the customer, then he should pay him. The customer should pay. But if it's designed according to the dimensions, the body dimensions of the tailor himself, he should not pay him. Why? That's a question for you.
Because he meant to steal it. If it was made for him, his size, he meant to steal it. So that's why. If it was made for the customer, then he should pay it because he intended to make it for him. But if he made it for himself, then he shouldn't pay because he stole it.
Exactly. You know, that's a very delicate point, by the way. if he made it, if the tailor made the thawb according to his own personal body, his own size, that means he tailored the thawb with the intention to take it. And that's haram. So that's what they call bay'un fasid or batil. So it's invalid. So he's not going to get anything for that. But if he tailored the thawb for the customer, with the intention to make it for the customer, and then when he saw the thawb, he said, well, that's nice, let me take it for myself. Okay? Still, we should not deny him the right that he made the thawb with the intention to make it for the customer, so he deserves the money there. Huh? The intention. So the ruling has to do with the intention. So that was one story of how Abu Hanifa dealt, okay, with these issues. So that's a glimpse into the life of Imam